Hello, welcome back to Only Pistols. Today we're having a look at a Walther CPM1. This is a single shot CO2 powered 177 target pistol made by Walther in the early 90s. This one from about 1993. Let's start by having a look at some of the markings on it. So there you can see Walther CPM1 and the caliber 4.5. What you've also seeing there is the selector for dry fire or fire, and that's currently in the dry fire position. On the other side, under the loading tab, is the German indicator mark for low power, the serial number, and made in Germany. So let's move on to the sights. Standard Walther sights, marked there for windage and elevation, and the view from the sights. A fixed rear blade, which you could change to get different widths, but you couldn't adjust it very easily on the range if you needed to change the light. And again, on the front, a fairly standard Walther front sight insert held in by the little screw there. So you could change those, but again, you'd need to have spare sights with you. Going around the rest of the pistol, laminated wood stock. Nice shiny finish on one side, nicely stippled on the other, and a very nice kind of grey-blue colour to it. Quite nice feel to it. Fortunately for me, I have a medium-sized hand, so it fits my hand very nicely. I wouldn't want to have to carve it around too much. Otherwise, fully adjustable trigger. Try and get some light on it. So the trigger can be adjusted for length in and out and the angle that the shoe sits at, as well as all the usual settings for the weight and first and second stage take up. So CO2 powered, and what you've got there is a CO2 cylinder which is in the vertical position. Now the advantage to that is twofold. One is that the weight is not out in front of the barrel, on the barrel, and the second is that the liquid CO2 is naturally going to sit vertically in the cylinder, which means there's a lot less risk of any liquid CO2 ending up into the action via the transfer here. So let's have a look at filling that. So on these cylinders, these ones were marked with their production dates. So you can see there 13th of March 93 for this one. You have a fill weight, so 40 grams of CO2, and a tire weight, so an empty weight for the cylinder of 192 grams. Standard Walther filling system there, and literally you screw that onto the adapter once you've chilled it and release your 40 grams of liquid CO2 into it. And then again, once you've filled that, you put it on the scales to measure the weight. If you've got too much, if you've got more than 40 grams, you take it off. 40 grams will give you over 200 shots. So you think of that by comparison with an air pistol, with a high pressure air pistol. 200 shots, it's a really good system. So other nice features about operating this, well, the weight is all in your hand. It's also much lighter than traditional spring pistols that were around at the time. So for comparison, a fine work bow 90 would be 1 kilo 35, or that's what my one measures at. And this comes in at just over, and just literally a gram over 1 kilo, with a fully charged cylinder on it. And you then have the option, if you want, to add a weight bar, and that simply screws in to the front of the action there, and you get two weights that you can move around and lock in position with grub screws there. So that's if you want to add extra weight to the front. So the great thing about this is that not only is it lighter But if you want to add more weight, you can add it where you want to. So with a standard cylinder arrangement with the cylinder out front, you've got all that weight there. You can only add more. Otherwise, you've got a weight on the end of the barrel, which is also an air stripper, which was quite a new thing. So just see the end of the barrel sticking in there, and then there's an air stripper, and that's there to remove or make the pellet come out into dead air, which is meant to help with accuracy. Talking of accuracy, these things are as good as anything produced today accuracy wise. They will literally put pellet on pellet. So you've got CO2 in the cylinder. That literally is just screwed onto the bottom of the action there to load it. Well, we've got it in dry fire at the moment, so I'll show you that. Lift the cocking lever, that cocks the trigger, pulls the probe back. With it in dry fire, so now first stage take up, and that lovely trigger. So one of the other gripes I have about this compared to fine work bow is that if you want to change it rapidly, well, no, there isn't any changing it rapidly from dry fire to fryer. It involves cocking the action, getting your Walther supplied screwdriver, hex drive screwdriver, fitting it, turning it onto fire, taking it out, putting it down and putting it somewhere safe. Now you're in fire. So loading it, lovely wide tray, take your pellet, just place it in the loading tray there, bring the cocking lever over, that puts it in place and fires. So again, lift the lever, place the pellet in, and that seats the pellet the same every time. So really good. What else? These two here, these are holding the barrel in. They also are responsible for setting the depth. So what you have is two slightly offset grooves in the end of the barrel, and these grub screws will help move the barrel backwards and forwards very slightly to get the correct depth. So you can just see there it's level with the end of that block. Otherwise, it's a really lovely pistol to shoot. It's, as I said, far lighter than what was around at the time. Some of the reviewers at the time did comment on the fact of that they reckoned it was too light. Personally, I like the pistol to start out light, because obviously you can add more weight to it if you want, and having that weight actually all in your hand with the CO2 canister like that in that arrangement gives you a lot of options. So you can add weight to the bottom of the grip, or you can add it out in front on the weight bar. So there you are, a quick run round a Walther CPM1, a lovely single shot CO2 powered target pistol, as good today as the day it was made, and still as competitive now as the day it was made. An excellent underrated pistol, and it's blue and it looks very pretty. If you've liked this, then please like, share, subscribe, and otherwise I'll see you again with another pistol soon. Thanks very much. Bye.